to have kept you waiting. Now, the subject of my talk tonight is love in the presence of pain and suffering. Now, as a comfortably situated middle-aged bachelor, I must be quite an authority on love and pain, wouldn't you have thought? Now, by pain, I don't mean a nagging discomfort in the intestines, and for that matter, by love, I don't mean a nagging discomfort in the intestines. Now, the question I will put to you tonight, and I will attempt to answer it, is this. If God loves us, why does he allow us to suffer so much? War, pestilence, famine. This is this morning's paper. Now, last night, as I'm sure some of you already know, number 1 bus drove into a column of young Royal Marine cadets in Chatham, killing 23 of them. They were 10-year-old boys, marching and singing on their way to a boxing match. The road was unlit. The driver didn't see them. A terrible tragedy. No one was to blame, except... Now, where was he? Why did he stop such a tragedy? What possible point could there be to such a tragedy? Isn't God supposed to love us? Isn't he supposed to care about us? Now, this is the nub of the question. What do we mean by love? When we say that God loves us, I don't think that we mean that God is in love with us. He's not sat by the telephone, writing us letters, I love you madly, hugs and kisses God. I don't think so. Perhaps we mean a kind God. Kindness is the desire to see others happy. Not happy in this way and that, but just happy. Not so much a father in heaven, but a grandfather in heaven. Now, I love to see the young people enjoying themselves. That sort of thing. What does it matter as long as they are happy? Now, I'm going to say something now which I think will come as a bit of a shock, and that is, I think that God doesn't necessarily want us to be happy. I think he wants us to be lovable, worthy of love, able to be loved by him. Now, we don't start off being all that lovable, if we're honest. I mean, what makes someone difficult to love? Isn't it what is commonly called selfishness? Selfish people are difficult to love because so little love comes out of them. God creates us free to be selfish. But he puts within us a mechanism which penetrates our selfishness and wakes us up to the presence of others in the world. And that mechanism is suffering. Put it another way, pain is God's megaphone to rouse the deaf world. Why does it have to be pain? I mean, why can't he wake us up more gently with, I don't know, violins or laughter? Perhaps because the dream that we must be wakened from is the dream that all is well. Greatest illusion of all is the illusion that all is well. Self-sufficiency is the enemy of salvation. If we are self-sufficient, if you are self-sufficient, you have no need of God. If you have no need of God, then you will not seek him. If you do not seek him, then you will not find him. God makes us give to suffering. Through suffering, we release our hold on the toys of this world. Know that our true good lies in another world. Like blocks of stone, at which the sculptor carves the forms of men, blows of his chisel, which hurt us so much, and will make us perfect. Suffering is not the failure of God's love in the world, it is that love in action. Believe me, this world seems so substantial. It's nothing more than the Shadowlands, the world to come. Thank you.
That the merciless killers. I quite regularly eat one another alive. We had a short, and I thought productive exchange on the moral superiority of herbivores to carnivores, at the end of which I said the logic of her position was that she should execute a cat. And she then said to me, "Why are you trying to upset me? You don't even know."
What is that supposed to prove?
I think what Christopher means us to conclude is that women are different.
Thank you, Jack. Women are different.
Well, this woman was clearly terrified.
I like to say, why are you upsetting me? You don't even know me. I mean, she's quite right, one doesn't seek to distress one's friends.
Different in what way exactly?
The point is this, Alan, that she was unable to distinguish between an intellectual attack and an emotional attack.
So, Christopher, some women are very clever, you know.
Say, Jack, I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, you're a great supporter of women. That
wealth of personal experience.
Christopher believes that only practicing fornicators can teach him sexual morality. Or is it that each man must fornicate for himself? I've never been that clear.
In a sense, perhaps I do. Morality presupposes choices. The man who has never fornicated, or wanted to fornicate, or imagined fornicating, has no real moral choice in the matter.
Oh, I see. Beware solipsism, Christopher. Soon you'll be believing that if it hasn't happened to you, it doesn't exist.
I'm sure you're right, Jack. Already I believe that if it hasn't happened to me, it doesn't matter.
Come along then, Jack. We're relying on you to speak up for the weaker sex.
Oh, yes, Jack. After all, you are a writer of fantasy.
I do talk to women, Christopher.
Really?
Yes.
Name one woman you've spoken to this week.
Well, I addressed a conference of women on Monday. So
and did they address you?
They write back. They write me letters.
Pen pals. Well, epistolary intimacies, liaison dangereuse.
I don't profess any special insights on the subject. Harry here now is your married man.
Speaking of which...
oh yes, off you go then.
I must be off too.
It was a morning in November. As I very well remember, I was walking down the street in drunken pride. My knees were all aflutter, so I lay down in the gutter, and Pig came up and lay down at my side. As I lay there in the gutter, thinking things I must not utter, a lady passing by was heard to say, "You can tell by her pauses I've a company he chooses." And the Pig got it, and slowly walked away.
Come on, big brother.
Oh, good night, Lewis Major. Good night, Lewis Minor.
Good night, Christopher.
Oh, thanks for dinner, Joe.
Yes, it's a decent claret, I thought.
Yeah, very decent.
Shall we treat ourselves to a cow?
Oh, no. I think I'm up to a topple, yes.
Well, whatever you say.
Good night.
Good night, Greg.
Young Greg hasn't quite got it, has he?
I don't know. Give him time.
Young people these days are so serious. I mean, no more than you, I suppose. Matter of style.
Oh, I remember Christopher. He used to be serious. I remember getting him all heated about the abdication.
I thought King was incorrectly treated, did he?
I thought he should be guillotined.
Ah. Now, something I've noticed about Christopher lives the life of a monk, but all he talks about is women.
Well,
now, hang on a minute. Harry is the married man. Now, he never says a word about his wife.
what can we conclude from that then, Warnie? Women are more interesting in theory than in practice.
I find it better never to conclude anything.
It's going to be a frost tonight.
Too many stars. Confuses me.
You're as bad as Christopher. Come on.
Good dinner, Jack. Always is. Night, Jack.
Good night, Warnie. is where he longs to be. Home is the sailor, home from the sea. Hunter, home from the hill.
A very strange dream last night.
Now, the dispatch from Mrs. Gresham.
Can't remember any of it.
The Jewish Communist Christian American.
You may ask how I know it was strange if I can't remember it. Can't answer that.
Mr. Lewis?
Mrs. Young.
Major Lewis.
Yeah. She's very persistent. Which would you rather be, Mr. Lewis? The child caught in the magic spell, or the magician casting?
No news, of course, never is.
Do you know, I find I'm quite curious about her.
About who?
Mrs. Gresham.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, her letters are unusual. She writes as if she knows me already.
How can she?
I don't know, I suppose she's read my books.
I think it's probably the American style. Americans don't understand about inhibitions.
Yeah, she's called Joy.
Well, you can't blame her for that.
Look at that, top line. Joy.
Gracious, she's coming to England.
Yes. Oh.
I'm told you share a house with your brother Major Lewis. Who could have told her that?
Well, she knows that American wrote a sort of book about me last year.
I imagine you telling your brother about me and him saying, is she a nut? And you weighing this letter in your hand in the effect of weighing my respectability and saying, I'm not sure. Well, is she a nut?
I'm not sure.
Seems to want to meet you.
Well, yes. Us.
Politeness.
Yes, it's a good sign.
Hey, you are curious.
When one corresponds with someone, one does create an impression in one's mind, and one wants to see if that impression is correct. I know, what do you think? I think she's probably short and dumpy.
Spectacles.
Yes, certainly not abused.
Long pointy nose.
Leopard skin coat, red hat, brown eyes.
Beady.
Probing.
Bushy.
She's suggesting tea in a hotel. That shows some delicacy, I think.
Now, tea is safe and hotel is safe.
Shall we say yes?
Now, she may be married. Remember that when I put the announcement in the newspapers last time? Suggesting that you'd actually married her?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, she writes poetry.
Oh, well, she's barking.
Yes, probably.
However.
You know, I'm sure she's not really that intense. I'm sure it's just a day's visit. You know, Blenheim Palace, Woody Hole, tea with the Lewis brothers.
Tea with you.
With us, I'm not going alone.
Oh. If you insist, Jack.
That's that.
How will we know which one's better?
Presumably she'll have a little boy with her.
What if there are are two middle-aged ladies with small boys.
Well, let's hope they don't all have tea with us. There's a woman. Afternoon. Is he no little boy?
What's the boy called?
Douglas.
You won't be too little, will you, Jack?
Don't worry.
She'll be writing a dissertation about your works, you know. She'll want to come and watch you create. She'll say, I'll sit in the corner and you'll never know I'm there. And she'll take flash photographs and ask you where you get your ideas from.
It's just a cup of tea. It's an hour or two of polite conversation, and we can all go home. And it will carry on just as it did before.
Oh, hello, boy.
Do you know, I think he might be there.
Excuse me, I'm here to meet C.S. Lewis. Yes, miss? I don't suppose you know what he looks like. No, miss. Thanks. Anyone here called Lewis? Oh, thanks to go, Douglas. Over here. Mr. Lewis?
How do you do?
How do you do?
This is my brother, Major Lewis.
Major Lewis. And this is Douglas.
Hello, Douglas.
Is that him?
That's him.
Doesn't look like him.
I'm sorry, Douglas, yours is a common reaction. Please do sit down. We'll sum up some tea. That is if you drink tea.
Sure. It's England, right?
I get the feeling that you share Douglas' opinion that I don't like it.
I'm sorry. It's just that I imagined this moment.
And it's not as you imagine.
Not exactly.
Afternoon tea for three, please, and then orange juice.
Kind of you to find time to meet me. So many people must write you. I mean, you can't be forever having tea with strange women.
Not completely strange. I've enjoyed our correspondence.
Enjoy. Okay.
It's not a word that you would have used.
Your letters have been the most important thing in my life. Well, let's pretend I didn't say that. This is tea. This is England.
So, how long have you been in the country?
Just over a week.
And what brings you to England?
Oh, various things. I've wanted to come for some time.
How do you find England, Mrs. Gresham?
Quiet. Extremely quiet. I wouldn't go as far as to say too quiet. The big question about the English is, where are they all? Why are they all so tired? Seriously, they don't talk, they don't move. All day long they're timid and lethargic. I mean, what's going on?
Do you have an explanation?
I have a theory. My theory goes like this. The English are nocturnal creatures. They do their living at night. Somewhere in England there's this terrific party going on all through the night with everyone yelling and stomping and having one hell of a time. So all day long they're sleeping it off.
If only it were true. I'm afraid we don't share the energy of New York.
You can keep New York.
So you're a New Yorker, are you, Mrs. Gresham?
Not anymore.
Incidentally, what does your husband do?
Bill? Well, Bill's a writer. Or he would be, if he ever wrote.
So are you, Jack, though?
All in the past. So, you call him Jack?
Yes, ever since I was 4 years old, I never liked the name Clark.
You know, I wouldn't have thought of you as a Jack. Now you come to mention it, you do look like Jack.
What does a Jack look like?
Not at all spiritual.
Now it disappoints you.
Oh, no, not at all. You're just becoming real, that's all.
Mom, can I have my book?
Well, we have to ask him, won't we? Douglas has brought one of his non-read books.
Oh, really? Which one? The magician is never very good.
It's not true, is it?
What, depends what you mean by true.
Diggory put on the magic ring, it magicked him to this palace. There was a beautiful queen, except she was really a witch. He found a magic apple, brought it back for his mother. She was sick, and she got well again.
Sounds like a fair synopsis.
It's not true.
Well, it's true in the story.
Can you do magic?
No, I'm afraid not.
Mom, can I leave the table?
Is it all right if you run about?
Well, I don't see why not.
Don't go too far, darling. All this, it isn't true. It's his way of saying, I want it to be true. I was just the same at his age. I remember actually announcing to my parents that I had become an atheist.
In actual fact, you wanted to believe in God.
In something, at least. But I didn't know that then.
If I remember correctly, you've been through several phases. You started life as a Jew, then you became a communist, and then you converted to Christianity.
You remember correctly.
But you started with atheism.
No, I started with materialism. I had it all worked out by high school. Men are only apes. Life is only an electrochemical reaction. Mind is only a set of conditioned reflexes. The universe is only matter. Matter is only energy. Energy is... I forget what I said energy was somewhere.
Extraordinary.
Oh, that was all in front. Somewhere deep inside there was somebody else. Somebody lost in dreams.
One who wrote the poems.
I guess so.
So you're a poet, are you, Mrs. Gresham?
Major Lewis, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, God save us, she's gonna start reciting.
I hope I'm not quite that ill-mannered.
No poetry at tea time. I know my manners too. But, just to redeem myself a little, I must just tell you that I did once win a National Poetry Award, which I shared with Robert Frost. You have heard of Robert Frost.
Absolutely.
That's all in the past.
So why is that?
Let's just say I've turned away from the mirror.
The mirror being a reflection of yourself, a reflection of the world.
The one being vanity, which is bad. The other being art, which is good.
Yes, possibly.
You see, I don't make that distinction. See yourself in the mirror, you're separate from yourself. See the world in the mirror, you're separate from the world. I don't want that separation anymore.
See, I would argue that art has completely opposite effect. I think that great art can break through that separateness and helps us touch the very heart of reality.
Breaks through. Well, you see, that sounds as if art does all the work. I mean, I'd say we have to do the breaking through ourselves. I mean, art teaches us how to know it when we see it, but, well, art isn't it.
I stand corrected.
We really shouldn't take up any more of your time.
Well, it's very kind of you to come.
Mom, can I ring the bell?
No.
I think we should get the So, how long are you going to be in the country?
Till the end of December.
And do you expect you'll be in Oxford again?
Well, I don't know. I might.
What do you think, Warnie? I think you could rise to a pot of home-brewed tea.
I think we can manage that.
I mean, given adequate warning, of course.
Thank you. I'd like that.
I'll go see what it happens.
Major Lewis, I must rely on you to tell me if I take up too much of your brother's time.
I'm sure you have time pressures of your own, Mrs. Gresham.
Oh yeah, sure. Some. Your brother has given me so much. Through his writing, I mean. I think it might surprise you to know just how much.
Mrs. Gresham, nothing surprises me.
Do you remember the bell in the book?
Oh, yes, and the queen was sitting on the stone chair. She was very beautiful. She didn't move or even breathe. But she wasn't dead.
No, she was waiting.
Waiting for someone to ring the bell.
That's right. Do you remember what it said on the pillar beneath the bell? Make your choice, adventurous stranger. Strike the bell, find the danger.
Can I?
It'll break the spell. It'll wake the queen.
I don't care.
Oh, I don't see why. It's only a cup of tea. She won't stay for long.
I never said anything.
At least I can talk to her.
Now, listen to her.
She won't stay long. You think she's going to make a nuisance of herself, don't you?
I'm sure you know what you're doing, Jack.
So much easier to be people who can't stay for long, shouldn't say. Going back to New York at the end of the month.
What about the boy? What are you writing in the book, by the way?
Magic never ends.
I think that's coming in a bit.
He is only a child.
He'll ask for his money back, you know.
You know, I thought when Joy said he wants it to be true, but when he says it's not true, he wants it to be true, I think that was really acceptable.
I wonder what her husband thinks about running around England like this.
For heaven's sake, he's in the Middle Ages.
And she is an American.
And the poet.
Ask you to listen to some of her poetry. I'll bet you 10 shillings to 6pence. And she'll ask you what you think of it, Miss Lewis, and you will be stunned.
I should say only you could have written that.
A distinctive voice.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, that must be there.
That's not a 3-line whip, is it?
No, not at all. Ah, you found us. Welcome. Come in.
Hello. Douglas, take off your coat. Hello. Isn't this pretty?
Mrs. Gresham, I'm going to let Jack entertain you if you'll permit.
Nice to see you again, Major Lois. Is it all right if Douglas looks at your books?
Well, that's what they're for.
Jack's particularly wanting you to introduce him to some of your poetry.
Are you?
I'd be interested to see what you write. years, something like that.
Gracious. No wonder it's so comfortable.
My friends call it midden. They say if you move the bookcases, the walls will fall down. Now, make yourselves at home. Let's see if I can sum up some tea.
So, what have you got there?
Language in the wardrobe.
The best. You be careful with that. Probably Mr. Lewis's first copy.
Mrs. Gresham, do you take no punishment, please?
Yeah, thank you.
There we go, we're all prepared.
Sir Philip Sidney.
Sir Thomas Wyatt. So, you like your poets to have titles?
I'm working on English literature in the 16th century, excluding drama for OHEM.
Oh, hell.
The Oxford History of English Literature.
16th century. You got the easy one.
What do you think?
Well, who is there? Spencer? I suppose if you cheat, you could squeeze Shakespeare in at the end.
No, excluding drama.
Of course. Okay, Venus and Adonis, the Rape of Lucretia. Oh, they've got to be 1590-something.
Yes, you're quite right.
Of course, you do have Knox's The First Blast of the Trumpet Against the Monstrous Regiment of Women. Now that is what I call one hell of a title.
Yes, it is. What did you call your poems?
Letters to a Comrade.
You remember anything?
Now, I know you're only being polite.
No.
You really want to hear.
No, come on. I'd like to hear them.
Okay. Let's get it over with. Let's see. Here's one I wrote when I was 22. Spanish Civil War. It's called Snow in Madrid. Softly, so casual, lovely, so light, the cruel sky lets fall something one does not fight. Then before perishing, see with unwounded eye, for once a gentle thing fall from the sky. Embarrassed, huh? Well, you asked for it. You get yourself out of it.
No, I'm touched.
Touched. Okay. Yeah, that's about its level. When was I ever in Madrid? The answer is never.
Personal experience isn't everything.
You don't think so?
Well, I've never been to Madrid, but I know it's there.
How about Narnia? Ever been there?
That's an interesting question. I suppose I sent surrogates for myself there. Children.
Yourself as a child.
Yeah, something like that.
It's different when you feel something for yourself. And it's a lot different when it hurts.
Just because something hurts doesn't make it more truthful, or for that matter, more significant.
No. I guess not.
Oh, Douglas, there's more cake there. I mean, I'm not saying that pain is purposeless or even neutral, but I think there has to be something else for pain to have meaning. I mean, pain is a tool. Pain is God's
It's
megaphone.
God's megaphone to rouse the deaf world.
How embarrassing. You know my work too well.
I know it because I've read it and reread it. I knew you pretty well before we met.
You have had a personal experience.
Mr. Lewis, you know what? I can't go on calling you Mr. Lewis. It makes me feel like a child. Can I call you Jack?
I suppose so.
Jack, I'm Joy.
Joy. Well, that's don't give up, do you?
I'm sorry. I withdraw the question. So, what do you do for Christmas?
Oh, usual, same as last year. Roast turkey, Christmas pudding. Far too much to drink. What about you?
Well, we haven't decided. Some lucky English hotel, I expect. That should be a new experience.
And then home for the new year.
Home. Yes.
You know, I have been hurt. Really hurt. First time is always the hardest. It's when my mother died.
How old were you?
I was 8.
Old enough to hurt.
Yes. It's the end of my world. I remember my father in tears. Doors open and shutting. Voices all over the house. Very big house, long, empty corridors. I remember I had the toothache. I cried out for my mother to come. I wanted her to come. She didn't come.
What was it?
It was cancer. Usual course. Operation. Apparent recovery. Return of the disease. Increasing pain, death.
And after death? Did you believe in heaven when you were a child? Did you believe you'd see her again?
No. She was gone. That was that.
And you went somewhere secret to cry?
I went somewhere secret. I didn't cry. Douglas, there is some more juice if you would like.
No, Jack. We really should be going.
So soon, you just arrived. Well, it really is very kind of you to come.
Well, I'm very glad you asked me. Douglas, book back, coat on.
It's very obedient, isn't he?
Douglas and I understand each other.
You know, Joy, I don't like to think of you Christmasing in a hotel on your own. I mean, you'd both be very welcome to come and stay here.
Jack, no, you don't want strangers rampaging all over your house.
Well, obviously I have to ask warning, but for my part, you'd be most welcome.
It's kind of you, Jack. You ask Warnie, but we can take care of ourselves, I promise you. We're very independent, aren't we, Douglas?
Yep.
You would be doing me a great kindness. I'm sure Warnie would be delighted.
Mom, do we have cranberry sauce when we get back home?
We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Goodbye, Jack.
Goodbye, Joy. Goodbye, Douglas.
Bye, Mr. Lewis.
Mrs. Young, we wouldn't have a thing such as cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce? What's that?
Well, I presume it's sauce made out of cranberries.
Well, Mr. Lewis, if you get me some cranberries, then I'll sauce them for you.
Very good, Mrs. Young.
Christmas is the general presumption of goodwill. I feel no goodwill towards my fellow men. I feel ill will.
It's got nothing to do with how you feel, Christopher. I mean, feelings are far too unreliable.
That's as may be, Jack, but they're very close to me. I won't hear a word said against them. They're easily hurt.
And a great Christmas is something of a lost cause, Jack.
It depends on how it's presented. And if you say to people that it's, peace in the world and being kind to the poor and the needy, then naturally nobody listens.
Ah, the arch communicator in action. Give us the sales pitch, Jack.
Virgin has sex with omnipotent alien. Gives birth to God.
I've always thought that the incarnation showed that God has a very limited intellect. I mean, who voluntarily becomes human when you have the option of remaining safely divine?
Well, think about the magic, though, Christopher. It's the coming of a helpless, squealing creature who is also God. It's an all-powerful baby. I'm sure that satisfies your taste in the peculiar. It's the coming of new life in the heart of winter when all the world is dead. Snow falls, the trees are bare, all but one tree bears fruit. I mean, that's the magic.
I think you're a little hard on the poor and needy, Jack. No room at the inn, remember?
Ah, Jack's invited them to stay with us.
Oh, really?
Who? Mother and child. They're upstairs.
Oh, what mother? Oh,
Mrs. Gresham and her son are spending Christmas with us.
Well, you have managed to surprise me, Jack. And who is Mrs. Gresham?
Wait and see.
She's an American.
Oh, curious, sir, I'm curious, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Joy. Let me introduce you. This is Dr. Maurice Oakley. This is Reverend Harry Harrington. And this is Christopher Ryan.
Delighted to meet you, Mrs. Gresham.
Mrs. Gresham, how opportune. They tell me you're from the United States of America.
Yes, I am.
Then perhaps you can satisfy my curiosity on a small matter. Jack's children's stories, they tell me, are published in America. Are they or are they not in translation?
I don't understand.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Clothes Closet?
Behave yourself, Christopher.
Oh, forgive me, Jack. Success breeds envy, as ever.
Oh, I don't know what you mean by success. All my friends think that my children's writing is some form of juvenile dementia.
Have you read any of them, Professor Riley?
Jack has read extracts of them to me. It's one of his tests of friendship.
He's been reading me, Sir Philip Sidney.
Is that more bearable?
Veritable. Sidney's glorious.
He is, isn't he?
He has this inspired image of desire. Capital D. As a baby that won't stop bawling. Sleep, baby mine. Desire, nurse, beauty singing.
Her cries, oh baby, they set mine head at me. Good old Sidney, he's very down on desire.
Babies just yell when they get what they want. I mean, that's what I love about the image. It's precise. Nowadays, poets are so lazy.
You're just like me, Joy. She's dragging me, kicking and screaming into the 20th century.
I've been force-feeding Jack T.S. Eliot. But even Eliot can be lazy. When the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. I mean, what kind of an image is that? He could just as easily have said like a cocktail sausage upon a tray.
Congratulations, Jack. You seem to have found a soulmate.
I didn't think you believed we had souls, Christopher.
Well, now, you see, I consider the soul an essentially feminine accessory, anima, quite different from the male variant, animus, which is how I distinguish between the sexes, where men have intellect and women have soul. Oh.
Professor Riley, as you know, I am an American, and different cultures have different modes of discourse. I need a little guidance here. Are you being offensive or merely stupid?
Very
Serves you right, Christopher.
I feel like calling for police protection. What on earth did you find her?
Tell me, Mrs. Gresham, how do you find England?
Cold, dull,
How very perceptive, how original.
and I don't much care for the weather either. Will you excuse me, Reverend Harrington? Dr. Oakley? Professor Riley, it has been my pleasure. Excuse me, Jack.
Oh. Yes, thanks for the drink, Jack. I must be off.
Happy Christmas, Harry.
Bye, Harry.
Jack, she's simply ghastly. You must get rid of her.
Just because she bit you back.
Oh, goodness, I don't mind that. You must, she's got her hooks into you. You must see that.
Christopher, she's a committed Christian, and she's also a married woman. And as much as that won't warm the cockles of your heathen heart, it does mean that she's very unlikely to have adulterous designs.
Never send to know for whom the wedding bell tolls, Jack.
Look at you getting all worked up. She's harmless. And anyway, she sails back to New York after Christmas.
Beware Christmas, Jack. I mean, look what happened to Scrooge.
Absolutely.
Happy Christmas to you, Christopher.
Easy to say, Jack. Easy to say. But I think I must be getting on.
It's good to see you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Thank you, Jerry.
Then it's taking us.
Thank you, Bob.
I see the man.
Oh, I'm sorry about it, Christopher. He doesn't mean it personally.
It doesn't matter.
Read from home.
Yes,
Or is it bad news?
in a way.
What is it?
If I was back home and this was happening, I'd write to you to tell me what to do. I could say it in a letter.
Well, that's easy. Say it as if it's a letter. Go on, off you go. Dear Mr. Lewis.
Dear Mr. Lewis, my husband has just written to me to tell me that he's in love with another woman. Her name is Renee. He wants me to give him a divorce so that he can marry her. Renee and I are in love, and have been since about the middle of August. If it had not been for our love, I could have not come through this summer with as little anguish as I have, for things have been rough financially. Perhaps you wonder if I knew about Renee. The answer is no, but Renee is not first.
Do you love your husband?
You know, I'm not sure I know how to answer that. Bill is very talented. He wants to do right by everyone. He is a good man at heart. Yes, I love him. Bill's an alcoholic. He's compulsively unfaithful and sometimes violent. And I guess I haven't really loved him for years. Once he broke a bottle over Douglas's head. 2 days later, he said, "When have you ever known me to do an unkind thing?" He swore me out. of it. The only thing that's new is that this time he wants a divorce.
No idea.
Could you? People don't know other people's lives. You have to live it to know it. Sorry. You don't agree with that.
Well, contrary to popular belief, I don't know everything.
A lot of good things have come out of my life with Bill. We were happy at the beginning, and there's Douglas, and there's something else too. Something important that happened to me that, in a strange way, I owe to Bill. Something I don't talk about, but I'd like to tell you, if you don't mind.
Yes, please, tell me.
Maybe you'll say I imagined it. You know, I don't think so. It only lasted a few seconds, but it changed everything for me. I've been turning into a different person ever since.
What happened?
We were living in Westchester County. Bill was working in the city, in New York. One day, he phoned me from his office, said he was losing control of his mind. He was never coming home. Then, he put down the phone. That was it. I had a small baby. I was all alone. I had no idea what to do. I put Douglas to bed, and I waited. He didn't come. Around about midnight, I broke down. I never felt so helpless. Douglas was upstairs asleep. I was downstairs. I was crying. And then, suddenly, there was somebody else in the room. Just for a few seconds, maybe half a minute. I knew it was a real person. So real. And everything else became like shadows. I said something. I have no idea what. I think I was just saying, okay then. Okay. Bill came home 3 days later.
Did you tell him?
Yes, I told him. He believed me. He said, I wish God would come to me. I'll say this for Bill. He has an open mind. He just can't keep any one thing in it for long.
You going back to him?
Where else can I go?
But what about the divorce?
Marriage isn't just a legal contract.
No.
We'd still be married in the eyes of God.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be free to marry anyone else.
No.
No. I know. I've read your writings on the subject. Many times. You know, it seems I don't need your advice after all. I don't seem to have a wide range of choices.
Is this woman living in your home?
I guess so.
This is where you're going back to. later.
Jack, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to burden you with all of this. Don't you worry about me. I'll be fine. I always have been.
I just wish there was something I could do.
There is.
Tell me.
Be my friend.
That's already.
I know. Thank you. I'm just going to go upstairs now.
Young.
Thank you, Lewis.
Mr. Young? You miss her, don't you?
He's wiser now.
Talking's not one of my strong points.
One of your many attributes. You know, Warnie, I didn't really say thank you. You're very tolerant, very considerate.
I'll get that, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you. Christopher.
Morning, Professor Riley. You're early.
Morning, Mrs. Young.
Please do go in.
Thank you.
What's the matter with you, Christopher?
Is it safe to come in? La belle dame, sans merci?
You know perfectly well that she's gone back to New York.
Tom's latest, as promised, the only copy.
Is it any good?
Not bad. If he wasn't a friend, I'd say pretty good. Morning, morning.
Morning, Christopher.
Just as well, perhaps, Jack.
What's just as well?
The return of the native.
What are you trying to say?
Oh, well, you know how people talk.
I don't know and I don't care. I don't see why two people aren't allowed to be friends.
Oh, what's wrong with that? Friendship forever.
It's just love and sex these days. Soon friendship will be as an outmoded notion as chastity. You know, friends will be like elves and pixies. Mystical creatures from a distant past.
Far too optimistic, Jack. Friendship will be outlawed, clearly. The accused has been found guilty of gross public friendship. I hereby pass sentence of 5 years' marriage with no remission.
No news, of course. Never is any.
Shall we see you in hall, Warnie? I got times.
Like old times, Christopher. Why ever?
Tell me something, Christopher. I don't know this. Did you say that you were content?
I am as I am. The world is as it is. My contentment or otherwise has little to do with it.
You don't ever feel a sense of waste?
Of course. All life is waste. Remember, I don't have your faith in divine recycling.
Find this the trying time of the year. Leaves are not yet out. There's mud everywhere. Frosty mornings have gone. Sunny mornings are not yet here. The air is dank and unhealthy. Give me frozen pipes, blizzards any day, but not this nowhere land, not this waiting room of the world.
May will come, Jack, and June and July.
I've got 2 books to finish, 6 talks to write, and letters.
Remember me?
Joy, what are you doing here?
The door was open.
But,
We live here now. Douglas and I.
here in Oxford.
Well, yes, but we have our own house this time, so don't worry, we'll be no trouble at all. Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, yes.
Then you're going to have to make it. This is your house.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. It's just, why did you write?
What for? To ask permission.
Well, no, it's just, when did you decide? I mean, how did you organize that? How do you arrange a house?
And what have I done with Bill? We divorced. No more Bill, no more America.
Oh, I see.
Do you mind?
Well, no. Why should I?
Well, I don't know. Do you mind?
No, I don't.
Well, that's all right then. So, tell me all the news.
What news?
Well, you're not going to tell me that time has stood still while I've been away.
It's gone at a slow amble. I've been offered a chair at Cambridge, if that's any sort of news. Professor of Renaissance and Medieval Literature.
Will you take it?
Yes, probably.
You'd leave Oxford.
Well, only to work. I mean, I'd still carry on living here. Cambridge is a very chilly sort of town.
So, you won't be moving out just as I move in.
You know, I really am very surprised to see you.
I think you're overdoing the surprise a bit, Jack. I wasn't dead. I was only in America.
Yes, it's just that I've been thinking about it. And,
I am honored.
yes, I've been thinking about you, and there you were.
Here I am. Present tense. Present and tense.
You know, I really am very glad to see you.
Thank you.
So tell me, how's that young man?
Oh, it's very well. I'm not sure he's very convinced about the move to England, but I guess he'll get used to it.
Such a good boy.
He is, most of the time.
He's read any more than I.
Well, of course, you know, he's always reading and he loves it. So, this is it.
I always think like moving house is like a revolution. The old order is overthrown and the new one is not yet born. One wakes to find strange ways and one's books are in strange places. There's nowhere to hang one's stress down.
When did you last move house?
Oh, good heavens, 25 years ago. Thank God that's over.
Oh, I don't know why I brought all this stuff.
What is it?
My uncollected works. How can I have written all of this?
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, you haven't read it. Nor will you.
What can I do to help?
Books on the shelves.
Any particular order?
Oh, just put them wherever they'll fit. I'll sort them out later.
So what does Bill think about you moving to England?
Well, I don't think he likes it. But, on the other hand, he can't only afford to give us $60 a month, and, well, England's cheaper.
That doesn't sound an awful lot. Is that enough?
We'll manage.
What made you decide?
What, to come to England? I had to live somewhere, and England's cheaper. I like Oxford. I like the way it's been here a long time. Not everything is the impulse of the moment. I like being among educated people, and I like living in the same town as you. Do you mind?
Why should I not?
Do you mind?
No. I don't mind.
You know what I'm trying to say, Jack?
Why don't you believe me? I like being your neighbour.
Well, I believe you. It's just, well, you don't say it all, do you?
Well, I can't say it all. It takes too long.
All right, Jack. But I trust you to tell me anything I need to know.
Like what? What would you want me to say?
I want to stay friends with you, Jack. I need to know anything that would make that hard for you.
I see.
Well, we may as well know where we are.
What, like having it out in the open?
That's the way I like it.
It's funny, people never know what's going on between two people, do they? You jump to conclusions. Makes me angry. Can't just be friends.
Like us, you mean?
Yes, like us. I mean, that's not to say that friendship isn't in its way something that's important. I've always found it to be one of life's most precious things. But I don't think it should be watered down to something that it's not. Such as? Well, such as romantic love. That's not saying that friendship in its own way isn't a kind of...
A kind of love.
Yes. And you'd understand.
Oh, I understand better than that, Jack. You are a bachelor, and I am a divorced woman. Some people might suppose you to have some idea of marrying me. You have no such idea. I am to have no false expectations. You want to have this out in the open because you care about me. You don't want me to be hurt. Have I understood you correctly?
You are extraordinary. I don't know what to say.
It's okay. I just said it all. It wasn't so hard, was it?
It's just I'm not used to this,
Naming names. That's all it is.
yes, this name.
So, now you don't need to be afraid of me, do you?
I was never afraid of you, Jude.
You know, I really do appreciate your help, Jack.
Well, if there's anything else that I can do, you will let me know.
I don't want to exhaust your goodwill.
No, I think that it grows by being drawn.
Jack, if I was to ask you for something and you couldn't give it, well, you would say no, wouldn't you? I mean, just no. No guilt, no evasion, no running away.
Well, no, I don't think you'd ask me to do anything that was outside of my power to do.
No, it's not out of your power.
Is there something particular?
Jack, there is something that you could do for me. Something that would help me a great deal.
I think I know what it is. You want to put the kettle on? Future?
Why Oxford?
Why not Oxford? Dreaming spires and so forth?
You know how it looks, Jack.
Yes, I know. She's a very good friend to me.
Is that how she sees it?
I don't know, I wouldn't presume to bring the matter up.
No, of course not.
There is something you should know, Molly.
What's that?
I've agreed to marry
You have?
you. Well, it seemed like the right thing to do.
Jack, you astound me.
No, don't worry, nothing's going to change. It's just, all I'm doing is I'm extending my British citizenship to her so she can carry on living here in England.
By marrying.
Well, technically.
Marrying Joy technically.
Well, marriage is a declaration before God, not a government official. Joy will keep her own name, she'll carry on living in the same house, we'll carry on just as we are. No one need know about the marriage at all, except yourself, Somerset House, and the Department of Immigration. It's just a bureaucratic agreement.
Oh, blast it.
We'll proceed at once. Before you are joined in matrimony, I have to remind you of the binding and solemn nature of the vows you are about to make. Marriage, according to the laws of this country, is the union of one man with one woman, voluntarily entered into for life, to the exclusion of all others. Now we'll proceed to the declarations. If you both please stand. Mr. Lewis, if you'll repeat after me. I call upon these persons here present.
I call upon these persons here present.
To witness that I, Clive Staples Lewis.
To witness that I, Clive Staples Lewis.
Do take thee, Helen Joy Davidman.
Do take thee, Joy Ellen Davidman.
To be my lawful wedded wife.
To be my lawful wedded wife.
Miss Davidman, if you'll repeat after me. I call upon these persons here present.
I call upon these persons here present.
To witness that I, Helen Joy Davidman.
to witness that I, Helen Joy Davidman,
do take thee, Clyde Staples Lewis,
do take thee, Clyde Staples Lewis,
to be my lawful wedded husband.
to be my lawful wedded husband.
Do we have a ring?
No.
No ring. Very well. If you both please sign the register and make sure all the details are exactly correct before you sign. Mr. Lewis, may I be the first to congratulate you and wish you every happiness in your life together.
Thank you.
Mrs. Lewis? Mrs. Lewis?
There will now be a transfer control. Please have attachments available.
Smashing. Can we go to the green room, please? And we'll just do a few notes. Stagehands come.
And, do you think he might ask you this weekend? Oh, exciting, you must tell me. I can't wait to hear it. Oh, hello, Jack.
I should have bought flowers or grapes. I didn't know why grapes.
Just 5 minutes, Mr. Lewis. Just bring me books, Jack. I'm going crazy here. The nurse has been telling me all about her love life. She's been dating this boy for 2 years. Will he marry her? How far should she let him go without him being at least engaged? I tell you, I was almost sick with excitement, but she doesn't see him again till Saturday, so I need books.
Strikes me you seem so much better.
Shh. I have to pretend we haven't noticed, or he'll take it away.
What advice did you give to the nurse?
I told her to give him enough to make him want the rest, and nothing else till he pays up.
Poor fellow, he doesn't stand a chance.
Jack, if I get better, do I have to give the ring back?
No. It's forever. For all eternity.
You don't have to feel sorry for me now.
Well, nor me feeling sorry for myself. I just want to spend as much time with you as possible.
Speaking of him, how did you square it?
Or getting married.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you are just not the sort to say it wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway.
No, you're right. This is the argument that I pitched myself. I said, I want to marry Joy, but I can't because she's already married. Whatever a divorce court might decree, marriage is indissoluble in the eyes of God. But your husband was married before, so he wasn't free to marry. So you were never really married to him in the first place. Am I being too clever?
No, you're doing fine. Just fine.
minutes, Mr. Lewis.
Good luck for Saturday.
Frankly, I'm worried about him. His behaviour is entirely out of character.
It's been a very great shock to him.
That's my point. I know they become good friends.
Well, husband and wife.
Well, quite, but what can one say? The woman is dying.
Not anymore.
Not dying?
No. Jack says she's recovering. The cancer's stopped spreading.
Well, that's good news. Excellent news. So, what will you do, Wally?
What do you mean?
Oh, well, if she does recover, where will you live?
I don't know.
Ah, Christopher, excellent news. It seems Mrs. Gresham is not to die after all.
Oh, that is good news.
I think we'd best start calling her Mrs. Lewis, don't you know?
Yes.
If she does recover, we shall chalk this up as a victory to the power of prayer.
I've never really understood about prayer. Does God intervene in the world only when asked?
It has been known.
And what are the qualifications for divine aid? Merit, intense suffering, persistent prayer. I mean, how does he choose?
I hardly think this is the time or the place for a theological argument.
And if God knows what we need, what's best for us, why do we need to ask? Doesn't he know what's best for us?
Doesn't who know what?
Jack, Christopher's being Christopherish about prayer.
Prayer. Pray all the time these days. I think if I stop praying, I'd stop living.
And God hears your prayers, doesn't he? Oh, we hear Joy's getting better.
Yes, she is.
I'm very glad, Jack.
That's not why I pray for her. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because I need help. I pray because the need flows out of me, day and night, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change me. It doesn't change God. It changes me.
Now that I understand. That's the first sensible thing I've heard anyone say on the subject.
We mustn't get our hopes up. I mean, she is getting better. Mustn't expect too much. One, we shouldn't go.
Ready when you are, Jack.
Well, Mr. Lewis, I think you should actually come and see this for yourself.
Well, see what?
She's doing rather well, all things considered.
Rather well. Joy!
Jack. I'm still a little wonky.
Well, show me.
Okay.
Look at that boy.
Good show, Joy.
Do some more. Slowly now.
Yes, come on. Sit and rest. So when can we take her home?
Well, as soon as you like. I see no reason to keep her in hospital as long as the remission continues.
Which is how long?
It could be months. It could be weeks.
Why not years?
That would be unusual in such an advanced case. I'm sorry you did want to know.
We'll take what we can get. So, how would you like to come home?
Where is home, Jack?
Well, to my house, to our house. I mean, you are my wife after all. Warnie and I are going to look after you.
Have you asked Warnie?
Warnie?
Well, don't worry about me, Jack. I'll sort myself out.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, new digs, no problem.
Is that what you want?
As you wish, Jack.
Well, no, I don't wish.
Oh, right, go on then.
Well, there we go. That's that.
I'll see you at home then, Joy.
See you at home, Warnie. Hey, can I help you, please?
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Not bad, huh?
Not bad. I don't want any talk about miracles.
Why not? It's a miracle to me.
Miracles frighten me.
Take it when it's offered, I say.
Frightened of loving God too much for giving you back to me. That way I can just as easily hate him later.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Jack. Thank God now, and let later come later.
Anyway, it's not such a big miracle after all, you coming back to life.
What's wrong with it? You leave my miracle alone.
You were alive before, I wasn't.
What are you talking about?
I started living, and I started loving you, Jude. That makes me just a few months old.
Could be a short life, Jack.
This is a life.
Thank you, Mrs. Geoff. Good to be here. Can I take my coat? Yes, thank you. I can do it myself. Jack, I have a question I hardly dared ask before. But now that we're married,
Well, anything, Jude.
do you ever turn the central heating on?
Well, no, it's broken.
When did it stop working?
Oh, good heavens. I think about 10 years ago, I tend to keep my coat on.
Jack, this world is not a perfect place. And your house is less perfect than most of it. Will you let me purge it a little?
This is your home as well, now. You purge away.
Okay. So, let's see. Careful.
Oh, my
Look at that. What about you? I'm not caressing you lovingly. I'm removing the dust. Actually, I am caressing you lovingly.
Here. Let's get you in this comfort chair.
Thank you. Such service. I should get sick more often.
Mrs. Lewis, I can't begin to tell you how good it is to see you. Looking so much better.
Thank you, that's very kind.
The Queen announced that the royal family surname is to be changed to Mountbatten Windsor.
Quintessence. Botanically expressed. 4. I didn't know the Queen had a surname.
Yeah, it used to be something foreign, then changed to Windsor. Fifth?
Yes. Thank you.
The change is not to take place until Prince Charles has grandchildren. Goodness.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Can I make my move again?
You don't need to. Look, Jack.
Oh yeah. Make him work it out for himself, Jack. It's the only way he'll learn.
Well, you think we should send him to university of hard knocks? So he'll learn how to say, I know nothing about art, but I can call a spade a spade.
I knew it. That honest Jack routine you pull on your radio talks is all a front. You're an intellectual snob.
And a smug and a highbrow, yes.
I'm not insulting you, Jack. I'm criticizing you.
Oh, really? Then enlighten me.
The education system in this country is prehistoric. The boys at Douglas's school talk about going to university as if it was going to the moon.
Well, I don't see why that's criticism of me. Of course I'd like all the boys to go to university.
Now, I counted 3 buried assumptions there. You'd like. Well, that's the language of mild preference, not active concern. I mean, you wouldn't say, I'd like as many boys to be saved from starvation as
Yes, but that's just like...
Wait, I haven't finished. Second buried assumption, boys. What about girls?
Ah, conceded.
Third buried assumption, you like as many to go to university as possible. What makes it possible, Jack? God? Chance? The weather? How about people like you? The high priests of the sacred cult of the intellectual elite.
It's just verbal raspberries.
You always want to have the last word.
Well, there's precious little hope of that here.
I have it. Honeymoon.
What?
What do you mean? Morning honeymoon.
You two should have a honeymoon. I mean, marriage. Honeymoon. That's the way of things. So you should. You should have a honeymoon.
Yes, but Joy's not up to travel.
I suppose this is our honeymoon morning.
I suppose it is.
So, how come we're carrying on as if we've been married for years?
Is that what we're doing?
You're an intellectual bully, you know?
Well, that makes 2 of us, and I'm too old to change now. Do you mind?
What? You being too old, or you being a bully?
Either.
No, I don't mind.
I don't want to be young anymore. When you're young, you're looking ahead, you're always looking at the next bend, seeing what's coming around the corner. I'm not looking ahead anymore. I just happen to be here now with you. That's enough.
People go on journeys for their honeymoon, Jack.
What do you mean abroad?
Well, there's no need to sound quite so alarmed.
Oh. I remember my mother taking warning at me to Bernard and Lydia the summer before she died. It's the only time I've ever been abroad.
Ah, that 1907.
Where would you like to go?
Well, I've always wanted to go to Greece. To see the Parthenon. And the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. And the Lion's Gates at Mycenae.
Where would we stay?
Some little Greek hotel.
Are you up to it?
Me? Well, I am if you are.
I think if I had to walk into a hotel with a woman beside the register, I think I'd probably blush.
Well, that's settled then.
The Isles of Greece. The Isles of Greece.
The burning sapphire, loved and sound. The through the arts of
war and peace.
where
Fidelis rose and Phoebus sprung.
Eternal summer
Feels
fills
the
the
dead.
air.
All except the sun itself. There it is. As advertised. Not yet set. I love the sun. Don't you just love the sun?
It's a terrible glare.
Check.
Oh. One thing I hate about hotels, there's always someone hanging around trying to be helpful.
Well, I like them. And I especially like room service.
Room service? I always used to think the room service was saying the prayers in bed.
Well, you can order us some prayers if you want. Me? I would like a gin and tonic.
Now, we've only just had breakfast.
So?
Oh, hello, yes, this is Mr. Lewis's room. We'd like to order room service, please. We'd like some drinks brought up to the room, if that's convenient. Yes, we'd like a gin and tonic and another gin and tonic. Yes, that's 2 gin and tonics. Well, it's actually 2 gins and tonics. Yeah. Thank you.
Jack, you don't like gin.
I know, I panicked.
You know, people used to worship the sun. I can understand that.
I can understand people worshipping the sun in England where the sun shines, but here, I mean, it's like a waiter hanging around for a tip. It's no mystery, no class.
Jack, it's a feeling. You just don't know how to be in the sun.
What do you mean?
Come over here and I'll show you.
No, I don't like surprises.
Come over here.
This isn't going to work.
Now, put that face of yours up here. Feel the sun on your face. So close you can stick out your tongue and lick it. No words, no thoughts, just the sun on your face. The sound of the wind in the almond trees. She cries. In this land, nothing is impossible. Nothing is forbidden. You might even take off your coat.
Say stickler. Drinks. You all right?
Fine. I'm great. I am so happy. I don't think I have ever been so happy.
Or me. Well, not since I was elected fellow warden.
No kidding. I didn't think there was any experience to beat that, this side of paradise.
This is paradise to me.
Don't say that. Paradise lasts. It's beautiful here. Being with you is everything I want, but that's not going to last.
Let's not talk about that now. You don't want to spoil the time we have together.
Doesn't spoil it. Makes it precious. The simple things. The ordinary things. time you touch me, I feel it like a shock. Your nearness, your reality. You. What will you do when I die?
Don't know.
I want to be with you then, Jack. And the only way that I can do that is to talk to you about it now.
I'll manage. Don't worry about it.
No, I think it could be better than that. Better than just managing. What I'm trying to say is that pain then is part of its happiness now. That's the deal.
Thank you, Mrs. Young. No clocks. No calendars. No clocks.
I know your footsteps. I can tell it's you coming up the road. I know it's you long before you reach the house.
Never knew I could be so happy so late in life. Every day I come home, there you are.
The first words you speak, I know what kind of mood you're in. Even if you don't speak, I can still tell from the lines on your face. I watch you when you work in your desk. I study you. I learn you.
Every day I come home, there you are. I still can't get used to it. Every day, there you are, just the sheer availability of happiness. You made me so happy. I reach out to you. There you are. I put my arms around you. There you are. Kiss me. You've made this world kind to me. I'm so very grateful. Grateful for all the ordinary domestic pleasures.
Grateful. Yes.
Let's get you into this chair.
Sorry, Jack.
I love you so much. I hate to see you in pain.
Life hasn't begun yet. Oh, gosh, you just better be right.
Marcus. Alice, your mother is very sick.
Died of Jude.
She is very sick.
Why is she sick?
I don't know why.
Can't you do something?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Still here.
Still here.
Go to bed, Jack. Get some sleep.
Soon.
Jack.
Yes.
Has it been worth it?
3 years of happiness.
Tell me. Tell me you'll be alright.
I'll be alright.
Can we talk about it?
No pretending.
No. Never pretended.
You afraid?
Dying.
Yes.
Tired, Jack. I want to rest. I just don't want to leave you.
I want you to go.
Too much pain.
I know.
Oh, the worms, Jack. Has to be more than we can imagine. Even more than you can imagine.
Far more.
I love your underworlds. It's how I first started to love you. Long before I met you.
They're just stories to me.
Good stories.
I don't know what I'm going to do, Joy. You're going to have to tell me what to do.
You have to. You have to let me go, Jack.
I don't think I can do that.
Douglas. You will take care of Douglas.
Yes, of course.
He pretends not to mind.
I know.
Like you. I have loved you, Jack. So much. It's always easier for one who goes first.
You rest now, don't you? much more to say now. I love you, George. I love you so much. You made me happier than I ever thought I could be. You're the truest person I've ever known. Sweet Jesus, be with my beloved wife, Joy. Forgive me for loving her too much. Have mercy on us both.
Go to bed, Jack. Get some sleep.
That's the pain.
Not too good.
Only shadows, Joy.
Only shadow.
Naturally, I wouldn't say this to Jack, but better sooner than later, better quick than slow. After all, there was no question about it. The writing was on the wall.
And is Jack taking this very bad?
Remarkable man, Jack. Faith as solid as a rock.
Harry, those few well-chosen words in the church. I seem to heard you say something along the lines of, all who knew her loved her.
Something like that.
Not quite God's own truth, was it?
Good grief, Christopher, what was I supposed to say? Nobody could stand her.
Jack loved her, that's what's true, and that's what matters. But you didn't, and I didn't.
But she's dead.
Death does not improve the character.
You don't love anyone, Christopher, as far as I can tell.
Well, that may well be so, but Harry here still shouldn't tell whoppers.
Jack was standing 6 feet away.
Jack wouldn't have minded. He's changed. She did that. She was a remarkable woman, but I'm damned if I'm going to start liking her just because she's dead.
Did you like a warning?
Well, not at first, but... Oh, yes. Remember that time, just after you came back from...
I wasn't going to come, and I thought I would.
Life must go on.
I'm not sure that it must, but it does.
I'm sorry I couldn't come to the church, Jack.
It's all right.
And my little address, Jack, was it...
I'm sorry, Harry, I didn't hear a single word. I don't know what you said.
That's fine, perfectly understandable.
Are you all right, Jack?
No.
Thank God for your faith, Jack. Where would you be without that?
Be here, drinking my port.
Well, quite. What I meant was, it's only your faith that makes sense.
No! Not good enough, Harry. This is a mess and there's no other word for it.
A mess?
Well, what sense do you make of it? What sense do you?
Jack, we have to have faith that God knows.
Oh, yes, God knows. God knows, but does he care? Does he care about joy?
Why are you talking like this? We can't see what's best for us. You know that. We're not the creator.
No, we're just the creatures. We're just the rats in the cosmic laboratory. I'm sure that this experiment is for our good eventually, but it still makes God the vivisectionist.
This is your brief talking.
What was talking before? My complacency?
Please, Jack. Please.
I'm sorry, Harry. You're a good man. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. It's just that I've come up against some experience recently, and it's a brutal teacher. You learn fast. Forgive me. I'm not fit company. I shouldn't have come. Excuse me. Sorry, Morty. That was unnecessary.
Everyone understands, Jack.
It's just that I I can't see her, I can't remember her face, I can't remember what she looks like. What's happening to me?
I expect it's just shock.
I'm just so frightened that suffering, it's just suffering, that it's just no purpose, no sense, no plan, it's just pain, a world of pain.
I don't know what to tell you, Jack.
There's nothing you can tell me. There's nothing to say. What about Douglas?
Well, your grief's your own business. And I guess you feel life's a mess, and maybe life is a mess. But he's just a boy.
What do you want me to do? Talk? I don't know what to say.
Jack, just talk to him.
My mother died when I was your age. It's cancer too. I remember thinking that if I believed she'd get better and prayed hard enough, she wouldn't die. She did.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
I don't care.
I do. When I'm alone, I cry. Do you cry?
No.
I loved your mother very much. I loved her too much. She knew that. She said it would be worse later. It's not fair, is it? If you want the happiness, you have to have the pain.
Don't see why she had to get sick.
Nor me. You have to let it go. You can't hold on to it.
Jack,
Yes?
do you believe in heaven?
Yes?
I don't believe in heaven.
It's okay.
I sure would like to see her again.
Me too. were like blocks of stone, of which the sculptor carves the forms of men. Blows of his chisel, which hurt us so much, will make us perfect. The shadows, its darkness and silence, and pain that cries like a child. So it ends like all affairs of the heart, in exhaustion. Only so much pain as possible, then rest. So it comes that when I am quiet, when I'm quiet, she returns to me in my mind, in my memory. She comes close to me, and I love her again, as I did then, even though I know that I will be hurt again. I will lose her again. So it is that Jack Lewis. There's no answer to the question except this. I was given the choice twice in my life. The child chose safety. The man chooses suffering. I went to my wardrobe this morning. I looked for my old brown coat, what I used to wear before. Then I realised that we had what we call Persians. I think it was when we came back from Greece. Can look at the pain after all. Pain now is part of the happiness then. That's the deal. Only shadows, George. Only shadows.
Lovely. Come and sit back down, everyone, just very quickly, just for a very quick debrief. Very quickly, please. Well done, everyone. Super, super job.
You just look amazing. Yes, I can just pick up my hat.
You just remember